It's a next edition of Phillies series recap with JJ. My name is Jason Joseph. I hope you're all doing well. Next edition of
Whoops,
Phillies
I'm
series
echoing.
recap with there we go. Sorry about the echo. I do apologize about that. But yeah, no. So welcome on in, guys. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon as well, so that way you know when I upload. Also, make sure that you join the Discord server too. It's linked down below in the comments section. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So if you want to come onto the voice chat and give me your thoughts about the Phillies, or if in the future you want to talk about the Sixers, or if you want to talk about the Patriots or the Flyers, or any type of a cast that we do, make sure that you join the Discord server down below. And with that being said, let's talk about the Phillies, because they just took on the Toronto Bluejays and they got the job done. They won the series. They swept the Bluejays. Okay, they took they took both of the games, and they ended the homestand with a winning record. Okay, they took 3 out of 2 against the Boston Celtics. I'm still on Sixers basketball. Oh my gosh, against the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. Okay, and was it pretty today? It was not pretty today. I'm going to tell you this though. Okay, Kevin Gausman's a really good pitcher, and he's been pitching really, really well lately. The shadows were intact today. I thought Zach Wheeler pitched really well. This wasn't really supposed to be a hitter-friendly type of a game, okay? And I really thought that they actually grinded this one out, and they battled through all the adversity that they've had to deal with at the plate, and they played a really good brand of baseball, especially over the last 2 games, okay? And I'm really proud of this team. I know it's been a little bit wonky because we haven't really been doing a whole lot of Phillies, because today I was a little bit busy and I had to film something. The Sixers just keep winning, man. So I've been covering them too. But I want to talk. I want to talk a little bit about this series and just some things that I saw. Let me get to my notes right here, okay? I'm a little bit old school. I had to, write down my talking points and things that I wanted to bring up, and then we'll get to your points, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. I think that the first thing that we can kind of get into, okay, is, yes, Jose Alvarado went down. Am I a little bit concerned about it? Yes, I am, but I thought that Rob Thompson said today after the game, he said that it was just inflammation. So that, to me, is a very good sign, for a bad scenario. So he's not going to be throwing for multiple days. They're going to get him some rest, and hopefully he'll be back as soon as he can, but they shouldn't rush it, Have him take his time, because as much as it sucks that, that he's not there and that he's not, going to be closing games, and the Phillies have such a great pitcher in him. He's like one of the best relievers in the game. You really want to make sure that you take your time with his recovery. And I think that they're handling this the right way. And it sucks because, he's arguably the best reliever in baseball. And he was doing so well before the injury. And just to have him go down the way that he did, it definitely plays a toll. But the bullpen really stepped up over the last 2 games, man. Craig Kimbrell looks like he's on a whole new level. I mean, he was pumping 95, 96 with the fastball. I'm watching today's game, I'm watching in extra innings, and I'm thinking to myself, this is... I've never seen Craig Kimbrell do this, in quite some time. And even my dad said something about that. He was like, this is probably his best outing that he's had as a Philly. And I couldn't disagree with him. The curveball was filthy. I think Ricky Pitalico said that 6 out of the first 7 pitches or something along those lines were all fastballs, and he was hitting 95, 96. That is a very good sign. And I'm sure that Caleb Cotham and the whole rest of the pitching staff, when it comes to the pitching coaching and all that sort of stuff, they're probably working with him on those types of mechanics. But when he's confident out there and he's firing on all cylinders and he's throwing that knuckle curve and he's throwing that fastball, that can be really deadly. And, you're going to need that, and you're going to need Sir Anthony Dominguez to continue to step up, especially even though he had a really good performance today. You're going to need him to be the old Sir Anthony. And I think that you can count on that, and hopefully he can try to get things going, because without Jose Alvarado, that's a really big loss. Other guys have to step up. Connor Brogdon has to step up. I thought Gregory Soto was pitching really well today, and he continues to get guys out. The bullpen's been really good. It just sucks that Jose Alvarado goes down, but I think that we got the best-case scenario of news today after the game was over, and we found out that Alvarado just has inflammation, and it's nothing as serious. But take the time, don't rush him back, and that's all I have to say about that. How about the Castellanos no-look catch that he made today? That was pretty insane, man. Like, Castellanos' defense has been really good, I have to tell you. And Ricky even said this today. Castellanos, without a doubt, has been the best Phillies player like this season, and I couldn't disagree with him on that. Nick Castellanos, I've been tough on this guy over the last year or so, because when the Phillies signed him, they needed a bat, and they needed somebody that can get you doubles, that could get you home runs, okay? That could be a really good contact hitter. And as soon as Rhys Hoskins went down with the injury, I said that somebody really has to step up and fill in and carry that momentum. And he has answered the bell every single day. He went 2 for 4 today. He almost had a walk-off home run off of Jordan Romero, which is absolutely insane. It was just a little bit foul. But this dude puts up a 9-pitch at-bat, and then he gets on with an infield single. He's hustling down the first base line. I thought he played really, really well. But no, that catch that he made out in right field was absolutely insane. And I think that we'll get into this in a little bit. The base running, when it came to, running from third base to home plate in a tie game, talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But I love the aggressiveness. I really do. I don't have any problem with how, things have been going in that sort of sense. I want to ask you guys, okay, does winning this homestand, okay, does that satisfy you? Is that good enough for you to convince you that you're, I don't want to say back on the bandwagon, because I don't think about it like that, but is this encouraging to you that the Phillies could actually change their season around, if that makes sense? Do you think that they can go on a run just because of what they showed you throughout these last 5 games? I need to still see more, and that is my bottom line. But I want to hear what your thoughts are in regards to that down below. I just need to see more from Nola and from Zach Wheeler, even though Wheeler pitched really well today, and he was great. I need the offense to continue to be consistent. Today, I give them a little bit of a pass because they were facing Kevin Gausman, and the shadows were very, very impactful today. And Kevin Gausman's a really great pitcher, okay? I just thought that they grinded and that it was going to be a tough battle. You didn't think that the Phillies were going to score a whole lot of runs anyways, but they came out and they won the game. And they did it against the best closer in baseball and a pretty good bullpen, So I couldn't be more satisfied with how they played in today's game and how they grinded it out, because this was a tough win. The Bluejays are a really good team. I need it to be consistent, though, because I know that this team, when they play up to their opponent, they can beat anybody in Major League Baseball. I need to see it more, though. And I'm still not fully convinced with this team going really far just yet, because I need to see them go on a run. It's 162 games. It's a very long season. But with that being said, I like how they've been playing as of lately. It's been a pretty good brand of baseball. Bryson Stott's defense, man. I do have to say that bunt that he had in extra innings, man, he needs to stop bunting. He just does. Like, those bunts were awful. And if your goal is to get Sosa over to third base, you got to work on that, man. You do, because they looked horrendous. On the other side, though, his defense today was stellar. I mean, he made some really nice game-saving plays over at second base. And this dude he kind of reminds me a little bit of Tyrese Maxey in the sense where, okay, he's not like, he's ascending before your eyes, right? Tyrese Maxey for the Sixers is ascending before everybody's eyes, and he's doing a really good job at scoring the basketball. He can shoot. Bryson Stott is very versatile. He can play second. He can play shortstop. Okay, when he gets on and he's putting up those at-bats and he's grinding out those at-bats and he's fouling off pitches, that, to me, says that he's going to be a future all-star in this league. And I think that he has just been proving time and time again, even though he was 0 for 4 today at the plate, he impacted the game in other ways. It wasn't about the offense today. The defense was the main reason why he was out there today, and he did a really good job on that end of the field. So I had to bring that up as well. What else? Ranger Suarez coming back this weekend. That would be really nice to see. JT Realmuto had a really good swing in that 9th inning. How about the 9th inning start by Bryce Harper? I mean, that swing looked really good. And then you follow that up with a great at-bat by Nick Castellanos. That was really nice to see. I also just loved that swing from JT Realmuto. And hopefully he can try to, continue that because he was due. And he tied the game for you. And, he was able to come up clutch. And that was why you won today. Trey Turner, he has a 9-game hitting streak, but I still need to see more. I really do. I hope that he can try to get out of the slump that he's in. But am I worried long-term wise? No. I'm still not worried. But it would just be so nice to see him get out of this funk. Kyle Schwarber, I know that he didn't have the best day today, but that home run yesterday was electric. That was great to see. A lot of people have been saying that this team has the potential of being the most talented Phillies lineup in their history. And I tend to agree with that. From top to bottom, when everybody's healthy, they're just a very solid team. And when everybody's clicking and everybody's getting hot at the right time, this team could produce like 10 runs in a game. Seriously, they are incredible when it comes to talent. Zach Wheeler pitched really well today. I liked the fastballs that he was throwing. Okay, he had the one mistake to Brandon Belt. But other than that, his fastball was in control. The off-speed pitches were great. And you're doing this against a really good lineup against the Toronto Blue Jays. With Vladdy Guerrero and all those guys, Alejandro Kirk, Bo Bichette. That was pretty impressive stuff. And I think that he continues to get better and better as the season has been rolling on. And that's a very good sign. Because I've also said numerous times on this cast that if Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola aren't your 1-2 punch, the rest of the starting rotation, man, is going to struggle. And that's just the truth. But no, he just continues to fire on all cylinders. He continues to do a really good job at controlling the plate. And JT, I think, does a really good job at calling the game and figuring out what pitches he has to throw in order to execute. So credit to him in that regard as well. Alec Bohm made a really good defensive play today. That was nice. Bohm had that one ground ball in that 9th inning, and I kind of wish that he would have had a much better at-bat than he did. But Nick Castellanos was running home. And in that scenario, that was a really good throw by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I had no problem with Nick Castellanos going to the plate because at the time it was a tie game, and he was just trying to be aggressive. Vladdy made a perfect throw to home plate. Nick Castellanos was hustling, and at that time, you want to try to, You want to try to be aggressive and try to make Vladdy work for it. If it was not a tie game, if they were losing, I probably wouldn't have done it. But they did have a tie game, and I didn't have any problem with it. But I'd like to hear your thoughts about that and see what you guys have to say. But no, I think that overall that they played really well during these two games. And I really liked what the pitching was able to do. The bullpen stepped up really well. The bats, when they needed to come up big, they did. And sometimes, you're going to have performances where you're not going to get a whole lot of offense and that your pitching is actually going to, do a really good job of keeping you in the game. And that's just what happened today. And then last night was the opposite. The pitching wasn't the best. Aaron Nola still was a little bit shaky. The bullpen did really good, though, overall. And the bats showed up. You're going to have those types of games. It's a lot of games. But with that being said, how do you take this into the next series when you have to go out to Colorado? I don't know. The offense better show up in Colorado, though. I will say that, because everybody hits at Coors Field. It'd be so nice to see the Phillies put up 12 runs on Friday night at Coors Field. That would be so awesome. Trey Turner homers, Bryce Harper homers, Castellanos homers, Schwarber homers, man. That would be so much fun to watch. And hopefully they could do that, because in this series specifically, I expect the bats to actually do a really good job. I do. I expect there to be a lot of offense in this series from start to finish. Am I being a little bit, not pessimistic, but am I being a little bit too naive? Maybe. I don't know. But I certainly think that this team has the capability of being the best offense in the league. And when they put it all together, that's nice. Brandon Marsh made a really interesting base running decision in that 8th inning, and I know that the Phillies didn't get a run today in that regard, but when the ball was hit out to the left field, I forget if it was Alec Bohm or if it was Brandon Marsh, or not Brandon Marsh, Alec Bohm or Edmundo Sosa that hit it out into left center field. But Marsh was going over to third base, man. And even though Kiermaier has a really good arm out in center field, Marsh just hustled. He really hustled into third base. And I thought that if the Phillies were able to get a run there, that would have been huge. But I like that. I thought that he was very aggressive, and that's what this team needs. Sometimes you're going to have to play small ball. Sometimes you're not going to be able to hit home runs, and you're going to have to try to find ways to execute and win the ball game. It didn't work that time because nobody got on or nobody was able to bring them home, but it was a really good try. So, I thought that was awesome. And yeah, no, overall, I'm very happy with this team that they actually took care of business against a really good Toronto Blue Jays team. Now you just got to carry that momentum with you when you go to Coors Field. I don't know how Ranger Suarez is going to look on Saturday. I don't know if Taijuan Walker is going to pitch on Friday. But I'm not going to be as tough on them because I know that the Rockies can hit, especially when they're at home. They do a pretty good job in that regard. But I need to see the bats in this next series. I just do. And with that, I want to open it up to you guys, man. How do you guys think that the series went? And overall, do you think that the Phillies can carry this momentum throughout these next couple of games? And when they go out to the West Coast and they have to take on the Rockies and the Giants, do you think that the offense can continue to pick up? And what did you like? What did you not like during this series against the Toronto Blue Jays? Let me know down below. Also, make sure that you come onto the Discord if you want to have a conversation with me. We're going to open things up right now. Larry's been waiting very patiently in the Discord chat, and we're going to get over to him. But if you want to come on and speak, make sure you do that. All right? We're going to go to our first couple of callers, and then we'll take some comments as well. Make sure you subscribe as well. Hit the like button and subscribe. And with that, we're going to get to Larry, man. Let's invite Larry to speak. If he wants to speak. Larry.
Yeah, I suppose I could speak.
What's up, Larry? How you doing?
Good to talk to you again. After the last Phillies podcast, after the Dodgers series, I thought I was going to have to talk you in off the ledge. You seemed very dispirited after that series, which I understand. They lost 2 games where they gave up 13, 14 runs, and it wasn't encouraging.
It was not.
But I was looking for little encouraging signs. I was being an optimist for a change as a Phillies fan. And I thought there were a few things here and there that we could hang our hats on. And coming into the next series, sure enough, they turned things around and they won 2 in a row, won a series. And this team is a little bit confounding. You asked if we thought this was going to be a catalyst, win these 2 games, go to Colorado against a team that's not a daunting opponent, and maybe win a few games there and get started, on a run, kind of turn things around. And I don't know, they've been in the position like that when they won 2 out of 3 in San Diego. It kind of felt like that, like, oh, this is the start of something. They're going to get hot here. And then they got crushed in LA. And, everything seems to be like that. Wheeler and Nola have had good starts this season, but they haven't put any together in a row. They haven't had 2 in a row. Wheeler today looked great, but the next time out on the mound, I don't carry that over and say he was great last time, he's going to be great this time. I think, well, he could have another one of those outings where he looks good and then has a 5-run fourth and doesn't make it out of the 5th inning. So I don't know that when you look up and down the lineup at how well they're hitting, other than Schwarber. I mean, Schwarber's producing. He still gets on base. I think his OBP is like 325, which isn't outrageous or anything. But when you're hitting 180, that's a pretty good. That means you're getting walks. He walks a lot.
Yes.
And he's got 7 or 8 home runs, so he's producing. He's not a total liability in the lineup. But everybody else, you look up and down the lineup, you look at their stats, and they're hitting. Sosa's in the 9 spot, and he's right behind Castellanos as the team MVP. If we didn't have Stott, I'd say Sosa should be leading off. He's producing, all over the place. He's, hitting. He's was he the one with that sacrifice, that bunt, 2-strike bunt today?
Yeah,
I think
that
was so.
Yep.
I mean, and
it was.
Stott was embarrassing trying to bunt.
Oh my gosh,
But
that was terrible.
Sosa can lay down a bunt with 2 strikes on him. He's not, he'll hit the ball to the right side with a guy on second to get him over. I think he had a sac fly with a man on third, didn't get a base hit, but got the run in. Whatever he hustles, he plays hard. He could be a leadoff hitter right now. He's hitting over 300, I think, or close to it. So yeah, you look up and down the lineup, you think this is a solid lineup, but they're not hitting with runners in scoring position. They're having plenty of games where they only score, a run, 2 runs, 3 runs. And they didn't score a lot today. They didn't score until the 8th inning, and nothing. Zeros on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right. 9th inning.
Yep.
So and a part of me feels like, hey, this is a good team. They've got depth. They're good up and down. The bullpen, the starting rotation. I'm not worried about them. They're gonna come through. But they have to actually do it, and they're not really doing it consistently. They're doing it enough to hover around 500, but that's not going to be good enough. They're going to need to get those clutch hits. They're going to need to reach their potential, I think is what I'm saying. You look at what they've got, and they got potential to be, a team that, like last year made the World Series, but even better in the regular season and contend for the division more rather than just be an 87-win wildcard team. They've got the roster and all the parts in place, and people aren't just slumping or playing terribly. They're playing well, individually they're playing well. It's just not coming together enough as a team. It's coming together enough to hover around 500, but they need to, I don't know what they need to do. It's hard to say. I'm not disappointed in them. I'm just like, okay, it's coming, it's gonna happen, and then it still just doesn't seem to happen at that level, at that elite level that we feel like they should be at, that we know they should be at, and they know they should be at with the pieces that they've got in place. And it's just hard to explain. It's like today, the good news and the bad news. The bad news is they're losing Alvarado for a little while.
Right.
But the good news is Kimbrel came in and was lights out in the ninth, and you look at their bullpen, they've got like 3 or 4 guys that could close for other teams. Kimbrel, Soto, Dominguez.
Yep.
Heck, even Brogdon, I think his ERA is just above 2.09 or something, I think it was today. Brogdon's been fine. The bullpen is good. Actually, the bullpen's been a strength. It's been exceptional. And they've got good starting pitching. I think Taijuan Walker had a start a few games ago where he was just terrific, But then his previous start, he didn't get out of the 4th inning. So it's inconsistent like everybody else. They show you what they're capable of, and we know what they're capable of. We know how Nola could be. He's an ace. We know how Wheeler could be. We've seen what Walker can do. Yeah, and the lineup, we've seen what they can do. Castellanos, Marsh, Sosa, Stott, everybody, but they're just not doing it enough, or they're not doing it at the right times, Just when they just need a big hit, Trey Turner comes up and strikes out or something, or Schwarber. Man, they're just feeding Schwarber nonstop breaking balls. He's just flailing at them. I don't know what it is. They don't, nobody in their right mind would throw a fastball to him. Why? He can't hit a breaking ball. Every at bat is just slow breaking balls that are breaking down into the dirt, and he's just flailing like he's clueless.
Yeah, I think that I think that you pretty much like summed up everything, with just one word. It just comes down to consistency. And Larry, I seriously appreciate you for coming on here and joining the voice chat. It's always good to talk to you, my guy. But no, consistency really is the main thing. Okay, Kyle Schwarber, you talked about, how they're not really throwing him a lot of fastballs because he's struggling with the breaking ball. Okay, June's going to come really soon. We all know that. And he is going to continue to start hitting. Eventually, it's going to come. But the breaking balls, man, he's been really struggling with those. And I'm sure that Kevin Long is going to continue to try to help him out in that regard, and that they're going to try to look at some more pitches and figure out what he has to do in order to put the barrel on the breaking balls. Okay, but the whole Edmundo Sosa thing leading off, I do disagree with you in that sense. I understand that he plays a really good job with doing the small ball stuff, but I just, at this point, like I still want Bryson Stott leading off because he was doing such a good job in the leadoff spot, and I really feel like that his confidence has gone down hitting-wise because he's not, consistently leading off, and it's more of just a matchup-based type of a thing. I just think that when he gets on, Trey Turner can follow up, even though he's been struggling. I just feel like that is like a really good dream scenario of just having him lead off because he can make pitchers work with 2 strikes. But am I worried about him long term? I'm not. It just comes down to consistency, just like what you're saying. Okay, this team, when they can put it all together, and when Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola are having really good outings, and the pitching is working on so many, or clicking on so many cylinders, they could go really far. They can beat anybody in the league when those two are dominating on the mound, and when the bullpen is pitching the way that they have been, which has been lights out, which is awesome. And then when the hitting's coming together, they just need time, and the injury bug needs to stop biting them. That's just what it comes down to. Ranger's going to make his first start of the season this weekend, and I'm excited to see how he does. Derek Hall's still out. Guys are still injured. And hopefully they can try to, come back sooner. But you also have to kind of keep that in mind, too, because that does impact the team. And not everybody's healthy. And I don't know what it is, but I do feel like that they are going to go on a run. And that they are going to do a good job at taking care of business. I don't know when it's going to be, but maybe it's now. I don't know. I have no idea. But I do think that these last 3 games have been very promising. And while they didn't play up to par against the Dodgers, okay, they were in a little bit of a funk. I don't know what that is. You're going to go through losing streaks throughout the season. I just want to see how you do throughout those losing streaks and how you respond and how you try to turn that tide around. And that's why I was a little bit down on the team at that moment, because the issues were still at stake, and just throughout the season, it was just mainly just a frustration thing in regards to, like what they haven't done this season. And I feel like everybody had a right to be frustrated about that because, it hasn't been the 2022 World Series team. And we know that it's a different team, but at the same time, they got better in the offseason, and we just had this expectation that they were going to come out and that they were going to dominate at the start of the season. So I think that that's where my mind is at right now. They did a really good job in this series, but they have to take care of business and they have to win the series in Colorado. And I don't think I'm putting too much pressure on them by saying that they have to sweep the Rockies, because that's where I stand right now. I do. With that, let's put there we go. What's up, dude? Thanks for coming on here. If you guys have anything else, gonna improvise through the Warriors game. It's nice. Yep, good sweep. Please sweep the Rockies. Steve says, yeah, man. I feel like that has to be the expectation going into Colorado, because the offense just needs to be producing. That's just what it comes down to. But they are taking steps in the right direction. I think Rob Thompson's doing a much better job at figuring out his team's strengths and weaknesses. I liked how he's a player's coach. And there's good things about it, and there's bad things about it. But today, he went out there, and he talked to Zach Wheeler, and he was like, how you feeling, Zach? Can you go another inning or so? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. That's the blessing of being a player-friendly manager. It's just about the feel. And I have, sometimes this season I have thought that he has lost his touch, but today it worked, and I thought that he did a really good job, or has done a good job throughout these last 3 games. All right, we're gonna shut things down now, but thank you all so much for coming on here. I really do appreciate it. And Larry, as always, thank you for coming on here and for joining the voice chat. If you guys want to join the voice chat in the future, okay, we will be going on tomorrow after the Sixers game is over to talk about the game and how things go tomorrow night. We're also going to be doing the game tomorrow night too. I might be a little bit late, okay? I'll post an announcement about it. I do have to film something that's about an hour and a half away from where I am, and I'm going to try to make it home by tip-off, but there is a chance that I may be 10 minutes late. There is a chance, but I will be home as soon as I can, because it's a big game. So we're going to shut things down, though. Thank you all so much for coming on here. Make sure that you follow me on all the social media platforms. The link is highlighted down below in the comments section. There's my Linktree. You can make sure that you follow me on all the socials, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, and all that sort of stuff. I love you all so much, and I will catch you all on the next one.